to a sex worker named Dave who is suing. Dave sues Cassie. Sex worker named Dave. His real name is Clayton Howard. He's actually suing Cassie and Diddy. And he's saying, I got an STD from y'all. He says, y'all forced me to fuck y'all raw. Well, fuck Cassie raw. Cassie gave me drugs. And basically said that he impregnated her and she aborted the pregnancy without telling him. He alleges they continued to have unprotected sex for a while. And he feels like he is a true victim, not Cassie herself. Okay? Apparently he wasn't called as a witness, but he mentioned several times during the testimony in Diddy's but he was mentioned several times during testimony in Diddy's trial. A federal agent testified that Clayton was staying at a Four Seasons hotel and had a flight from New York City to LA, all paid by Diddy. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen the press conference, the Shore press conference. This was, I believe this is Tenny Garagos, and this is Westmoreland. Agnew Philly was in the background, and then we have Donaldson here. Hold on, let me just play this real quick. And then we're going to play the sex worker who's now suing Cassie. And again, this is what money breeds. Cassie's going to see, and you know, when you talk about karma, what money breeds is that Cassie in her mind, because she's broke at the time when she files her lawsuit and Diddy's rich, she's the victim. She gets $20 million and she now puts a bat signal in the air for other people who never thought they were victims before. None of these sex workers thought they were victims, but they're now down to sue her. Ain't it ironic?
First, want to thank my client, Sean Combs, for trusting us, myself, and everybody here. This incredible.
I believe this is Anna Esteveo. I believe this is Alexander Shapiro. I believe this is Jason Driscoll. Big Brian Steele right here. We, of course, got Mark Ignifilo, Westmoreland, and Xavier Donaldson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 attorneys. Diddy did not play. He had 4 or 5 when he was spending 1.2 a month. I think by the time the end of that trial, he was spending near to 3.
Incredible dream team that he put together. Without him, we would not have been able to do this. He is incredible, and I want to thank him. I want to thank the jury for putting such great care into this case. They came early every single day, and I want to thank them, as I said in my opening, standing between all of us and the drastic consequences of the criminal convictions of sex trafficking. And RICO is a jury of our peers. And
by the way, Borman Gate, he says, yo, Ak, happy 4th to the chat. And Ak, karma's a bitch and Cassie's a rat. Word to Sean G.
Thank them. I want to thank the judge, and I want to thank, despite the terrible conditions at the MDC, I want to thank the good people who worked there, who ensured that we had sufficient amount of time to prepare for trial. It is extremely difficult to prepare for a federal case in the conditions at the MDC, and they did everything they could to make that happen. I want to thank them. I also have been saying this since the beginning of this case.
Sorry.
Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. We've said it with each lawsuit that came out, and today that was proven true. The media got it wrong about Sean Combs every single day for nearly 2 years. I ask that for every time you guys see a civil lawsuit, criminal complaints or criminal indictments, you actually take a look and analyze these and see whether or not these are actually going to stand up in a court of law, because today they did not. He has not sexually assaulted anybody, certainly hasn't sex trafficked anybody, and the jury found that today.
Thankfully,
Nicole,
in our country, we have a...
Nicole, you are a star, girl. You're a beautiful black queen who I'm glad you represent on the highest level and was a standout. I hope your rate triples, and you were probably the hidden gem, and the way you destroyed, I think Dawn Rashad, you did that. I think you dealt with Banner in the same manner. I think you did Banner, but every time you popped up on that for Cross, You were fucking amazing. Hailing from, I believe, Fulton County. You know, Diddy took a lot of his lawyers from out of Fulton County. You know, she was in the YSL case. I hope this gives her the recognition she deserves and, you know, definitely needs. She's a star. 100% a star.
A right to a jury trial. And thankfully, Mr. Combs took that right. He actually battled for his freedom, for his innocence. He did it. And a lot of times, you know, people are too afraid to do it. And he did it, and we're so happy that he did. We're proud of him. We are completely honored that he put his faith and his trust in us to fight for him. Today is a major win to show what the system can do. We appreciate and we're so thankful to the jury. Thank you to the court. Thank you, New York. It's been a pleasure being here and fighting in your district. Thank you so much. And listen, we appreciate the media. We do. There was a lot of reporting on the accusations. There was a lot of reporting on the indictment. Please report just as vigorously on the acquittal of these counts, please, because that's also the right thing to do. Thank you.
Ole. Okay, Nicole. Okay, Nicole. All right. Yeah, so that happens. By the way, Mark Garagos with his daughter, Tenny. Really crazy. So Cassie's now being sued. And this is why I would say, you know, Cassie kind of being seen as, hey, remember, Cassie, the charge that Diddy's convicted of is not only for Cassie in terms of prostitution, it's for the sex workers that were associated. Here's the thing. The majority of the sex workers never talked to Diddy. Diddy never spoke to them while they were in the room. They got the money from Cassie. They communicated with Cassie. Some of them had sex with Cassie outside the Freakoff. It was only about Cassie. So here's the thing. This guy, who I thought he was capping because he was on the Tasha K show, but he's the one, his name is Clayton. His name is Clayton. His escort name was Dave. He's suing Cassie. He claims he caught an STD from her. He claimed he got her pregnant and then she aborted it behind his back. He claimed that he was basically damn near sexually assaulted because they would do things he did not consent to. After filing a lawsuit today, he chose to speak out. This is what he said.
So good morning. I am Dave, the man who has just sued Cassandra Ventura for damages involved in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. And I'm looking through social media and I see a lot of the women out there, particularly black women like myself, who choose to victim shame me and try to do everything they can to discredit me, because the truth is that the loss of the Sean Combs trial was a loss to the Me Too movement and to hating women like the women who are trying to insult me. So let me tell you something, you women out there who would like to insult me. This is my story. I was paid by Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, for 8 years to be her male provider. I didn't have to be the best looking guy. I was the best in bed. And because I was the best in bed...
Let me also say this. I think every escort's going to file a lawsuit. You see what happens with a criminal trial, they validate certain things. They validated all the escorts and the sex workers, including Cassie and Jane. Cassie already got her money. Jane could claim that, you know, she didn't want to get prostituted. She could probably get some money there. But all of these escorts that supposedly work for Cowboys and Angels or whatever, and their contract said I only had to dance, but supposedly, you know, their story's going to be, you pressured me into a sexual situation. You and your boyfriend. Y'all forced me to do unprotected sex. Y'all forced me to just sit around in isolation waiting for you guys. Y'all forced me. Hey, again, remember, the veil of protection around Cassie has been lifted because a jury has now agreed she was not a victim in the sense of being forced. She's only a victim that she's actually not even really. She's just a prostitute or a sex worker. That's how they kind of claim it. Right?
Guess what? I was given this arrangement. I was coerced. I was drugged. I was manipulated with promises of money and gifts for over a period of 8 years to continue to be this woman's provider at her expense and at the expense of Diddy. Now, at the time, legally, I didn't know my rights as well as I do now. I didn't create this conflict with Cassandra Ventura. She created it with me. She's the one who decided to bring up things that happened over 10 to 15 years ago to hold Sean Combs accountable for what was a partial truth. She's the person who introduced me to the U.S. Attorney's Office. She's the person who told the U.S. Attorney's Office about our relationship. So in essence, those out there who want to hate on me, who want to say that I'm attacking Cassie, you should realize the truth. That Cassandra Ventura, your idol, did this to herself. She exposed herself to liability when she got on the stand and decided to mention me as the male escort who was with her when she overdosed and Diddy made her have sex with him. That was a lie, people. Cassie had just woke up from sleeping 8 hours. Myself and Sean Combs were exhausted. We wanted to go home. Cassie's the one who forced that sexual encounter. People, she tells you that Sean Combs made her have sex on her menstrual cycle. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. But I know the one time that did happen, that Sean Combs was not responsible for that. That Cassie, in a drunken, intoxicated, hormonally imbalanced state due to her period, manipulated and forced herself on me during her menstrual cycle. And what I mean by that is I had no knowledge she was on her menstrual cycle because the room was completely dark. She manipulated the room. She manipulated the environment to get what she wanted, and then she totally got up like I was the one who should have been grateful. You're on your period. That's disgusting, and I deserved more respect than that. As a man, if I had laid down with a woman and forced myself on her and orgasmed in her and she got up and it was leaking out of her, guess what? I would have raped her. So by statute, by case law definition, Cassandra Ventura sexually assaulted me. I'm not looking to destroy Cassie. I've given Cassie more than a year to settle this before things got out of control. The problem is she's being supported by women like you who would choose to attack male victims instead of accept the truth, which is that a woman could have lied to get revenge on the ex-boyfriend who broke her heart and hurt her. It happens, people. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and that's true. If you hurt some women, they will do everything in their power. If you hurt some men, they'll do everything in their power to hurt you. But I want to end this by saying this. Cassie did this to herself. They say he who sets out on the course of revenge should dig 2 graves. People, Cassie dug the grave that is Clayton Howard herself. Cassie got on the stand trying to destroy Diddy. She should have took her $20-30 million and walked into the sunset, people. She should have never gotten on the stand and created further liability for herself by telling more of the lie that she created to get this man sent to prison for his life. She made a mistake when she got on the stand, people. She made a mistake when she...
Yo, Nineberg said, yo, he got that famous Dex froth in his mouth, man. I believe this nigga.
Got on the stand and lied about the events with Clayton Howard. Clayton Howard is a victim of Cassandra Ventura. Clayton Howard didn't ask to be in a relationship with Cassandra Ventura while she was sleeping with numerous men per week. I get it. You all think I was a nasty male prostitute sleeping with women, all different women all the time. It actually didn't work like that. To have certain types of people that can pay you that well, what you really have to do is you have to focus on people who are affluent. And affluent people don't engage in activities like that. So I might have had a client once a month. The truth is I was only a male escort for 2 years. I continued in the profession because Cassie and Diddy continued to pay me very well, and I was an ex-con.
Yeah, that's that Jamaican saying, yo. When you dig a hole, always dig 2.
I needed money. Yes, I was trapped in a situation. I'll admit that. I didn't know what to do. But does that mean I should be victim shamed because the same thing that happened to women all the time happened to me as a man? No. And for those women out there, for you black women who choose to shame me as a black man for telling my truth, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's probably pretty much all I have to say. You will not see me too much in the media. I don't need the public to believe me. I just need a jury of my peers and 12 people to believe me in the court. And thanks to the testimony of Cassie during the trial of Sean Combs, I have that. Thank you for watching. Stop victim shaming.
Chat, I don't believe this nigga one bit. Gotta be honest. I'm always honest. But, listen, you know when they say the roosters have come home to roost or whatever? Or the chicken has come home to roost. Victim culture, look what you have created. This new woke culture that y'all have claimed is the ultimate form of the new civilization, unable to look people square in the eye and said, I'm not saying whatever you claim happened to you is right, but you need to take some fucking accountability. We don't do that enough, people. We don't do that enough. When you're a woman, you could do anything. Accountability is at an all-time low. You could just come back and say, nah, he sweet talked me. He promised to pay my rent. He promised to do this. I was deserving of that. Oh, man, I think he put something in my drink. There's a million excuses to not have accountability. When you see it's as lucrative as $20 million, I mean, shit. I can't blame this gentleman right here. And according to all the feminist victim community, he could be a victim too. None of this shit makes sense, chat. Cassie was getting millions and millions and millions of dollars, had 3 different apartments at one time. She had 2 alone in LA, driving cars, jet setting. She didn't know what a commercial flight was unless they were going to Europe. She could have left. There's a conversation, I believe, with Mia where they say, you got to get another guy. I'm going to hook you up with Michael B. Jordan. Before she got to that, they said, why you keep fucking with this nigga Puff? You know what she said? Who else am I going to date? Jay-Z got a girl. Who else am I going to date? She acted like it was 2 men in the entire world. Accountability is at an all-time low. Accountability is at an all-time low. Of course, we saw the very nasty, heinous video. Diddy putting hands, feet, elbows. I think he gave her DDT. This shit was horrible. But what happened is that there's no accountability by nobody in this case. And now that the court has ruled that Cassie is not a victim of sex trafficking, what about these men who feel like they were exposed? They couldn't speak up because when they showed up to do this encounter that they felt they were financially dependent on, they couldn't look at one of the niggas in the room who was behind the cuck chair. At times that they were worried about their sexual health and the health of the other people they were dealing with, they were told there's no condoms being used today. They were being forced to perform. I think that sounds like forced labor. But here's the problem, and this is what I've always seen about this case. It's impossible to separate the actions of Sean Combs sexually from the actions of Jane Doe and Cassie Ventura. That's the problem. That's the problem. Sexually, they're all the same. Deviants. Now, if you want to get down in the weeds of why maybe Cassie would even indulge in this, maybe she just wanted to keep him close to her. Whatever excuse you're going to tell me, I'm going to say the same thing that I'm going to say to him. It's lack of accountability. This guy said he deals with high-profile clients. They pay more. They might be into certain stuff, but certain stuff usually they're not. He got paid a pretty penny to keep discreetness, to do what he is told to do, and probably to compromise some of his integrity and his boundaries. For example, if he is used to using protection in those situations, they wanted none of that. He did it. Do you get what this is? And I don't know if this guy's a plant. You might be a plant, honestly. Might be a plant. Because his job seems to only flip the mirror back on the people who were crying, kicking, and screaming about Cassie and how much she's a victim. And they're saying, well, we were the one who were contracted to dance, and then there was a switcheroo, and we were intimidated of Cassie and Diddy. And I think he told a story on Tasha K. He said, yo, I'm arguing about her. She had me fuck her on a period. And then he jumps in, and I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to argue. So it's almost like a pimp. So again, chickens has come home to roost. Every escort that ever participated should be suing Diddy and Cassie or Diddy and Jane Doe. Jane Doe gonna get some bread. But if you the escort, who says that your $400 or $3,000, whatever you got paid to fuck, why you gotta stop there? Remember, this is the victim culture everybody has loved. I think they both lying. And I would tell both of them get the fuck out of here. Cassie, hit the road, Jack. And I'll tell this bum ass nigga with a do-rag too. But according to y'all victim culture, they both deserve $20 million. Here's the thing. He know getting that $20 million nowadays from Diddy gonna be much harder than if you try to get $2 million from Cassie. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you. So good morning.
Okay. Also, the other guy who we just talked to, the alternate jury, he did an interview with TMZ. So this is the second interview. They went with CNN, TMZ. Here, watch this.
Closing about baby oil and Astroglide, and made a point that there were 70 Homeland Security agents, and they were able to make America safer by taking baby oil off the streets.
And Astroglide.
And Astroglide. Do you think the prosecution making a big deal of that hurt their case?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it hurt their case. They just presented. This is just the way that they wanted to present it. It was that part was it was a nice humorous injunction, and I think the whole court laughed when he had said that. It was hard to contain ourselves a little bit, but I don't think it hurt or helped their case. But it was just evidence that they presented.
What was the evidence in your view? I mean, what was the point of it?
I think they wanted to show, and also I think the defense just wanted to. The prosecution wanted to, embarrass is a bad word to use. I'm trying to think of a better word, but
that's a question. Was it used to embarrass and to kind of paint him as a freaky guy? I mean, with 1,000 bottles of baby oil. What do you think? Because listen, you had to receive the information.
Yeah.
What did you think was behind it? Was it to embarrass? Was it to kind of paint him that way? Or do you think it was relevant to the criminal charges?
I think it was to prove something criminally, because if it was just to embarrass, it wouldn't. Because the prosecution's job is not to just embarrass and mock
or to make him look like a freak.
Well, I think they did want to, point. They wanted to paint him as, a freaky, head of basically an enterprise, kind of a guy, this big like mob boss kind of thing with underlings that are just doing his job with oils and Astroglide. So I think they had wanted, but they presented it as evidence. But again, we looked at all the evidence equally. Whatever was presented to us, we consider everything together based on the judge's instructions. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that those videos, the Freakoff videos, helped the prosecution in showing Cassie was doing it without her consent? Or in your view, did it hurt because you felt she was into it and not kind of objecting? How did you view it? When
looking at it, again, it varied in length, and in some parts of it where, it was just, basically it was Cassie or Jane rubbing baby oil on an escort, and then some were more graphic with, they were engaging in sex. So, again, it wasn't. We didn't see the entirety of all the videos, but they showed different snippets. But from what I saw, from both sides that I saw, it all did seem consensual. Nothing seemed like it was forced, and I think so. Yeah, let's leave it like that.
There has been criticism that prosecutors brought this case in the first place. Mark Agnifilo actually told us in a documentary 7 months ago that this was bedroom police, as he put it, going into Diddy's bedroom because they didn't like the way he had sex.
I think that was in his opening argument too. I think he said something to the like. Or he didn't, because he wasn't giving the opening argument. But I think the defense said something to that liking. But I'm sorry for interrupting you. But I think they did.
No, they did bring it up. What do you think of that argument?
I mean, the charges that the prosecution put forward were very serious charges. So I don't think that they were just going after, they were after him because of bedroom talk. I don't think that. I mean, that's their argument. The government would, countered that and said that he was, a dangerous, head of an enterprise, and forcing people to do, various things. So that was just his argument.
All right, so this guy's confirmed to what we thought. He said the Freakoff videos that were shown in court wasn't necessarily about actual sex. They showed a lot of before, a lot of maybe B-roll stuff, not necessarily sex. It looks like the defense may have introduced a little bit more about sex to show that she is having fun. She's orgasming. She's having time of her life. The prosecutor was showing, apparently, the Freakoff videos from an angle of this is how much control he had over this sexual situation. And this woman didn't have any control, and this amount of control in a sexual situation is almost tantamount to sex trafficking, because she's not either capable or she can't make her own decisions by all these other factors, which would make it sex trafficking, right? Okay. We got